All right, hello and welcome back. It's been quite some time since I've turned my camera on and posted a video to the internet. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I just haven't been feeling it for a long time, so I haven't done it for quite some time. But I did want to go ahead and jump back on, one, because I've got a brand new knife that I need to sharpen, well, want to sharpen, and also I don't get a ton of traffic on my channel. Like, it's a pretty small channel. I'm kind of a weird dude, and I make very specific videos about very specific things. And so I don't get a ton of interest or traffic. However, of the people that I do, I get comments relatively frequently, and it's usually the same thing. And it tends to do with, I've got a new knife, I've got a sharpener, and I want to figure out how to pick the best angle, like what processes do I use to find and implement the angle that I want onto a new knife or an old knife or whatever. So basically, what do I do to get my angle? So I'm going to try to do the best that I can to take some time to illustrate exactly what I do to find it. I'm going to try to do a very crude drawing that shows kind of my decision-making process, and we're going to go from there. So anyways, this is, my parents bought me this knife. They were traveling and stopped at some knife store somewhere, and they know that I like knives with the big holes in the blades. And so they bought me a Spyderco. This is an Efficient, and it's a pretty nice little knife. I like it. I've carried it a number of times, but I probably had it for, well, I don't know, maybe 6 months or so, and I haven't even put an edge on it. So today's the day. But anyways, so what I do when I first get a new knife, whether it's been just taken out of the box and I want to put an edge on it, or say somebody asks me, finds out that I would sharpen knives, and they say, hey, here, will you sharpen this knife for me? And they've tried to sharpen it before or whatever. So the first thing I look at is the bevel. Now, I don't know how well this is going to come across, but this, again, I haven't touched this, so this is from the factory. And so what I'm looking at, very first thing, is the height, this way, of the bevel. And I'm looking at it from any differences from back to front, or tip to heel, I should say, or side to side. So one thing I definitely look at, and something that can throw people off, is when you're getting into something like the Wicked Edge or a KME, where you're using angle cubes to find specific angles, and you're having trouble figuring out why in the hell I can't get a burr, or why in the hell my edge looks different. It's because of the way the knife showed up in your hands and its lack of symmetry from side to side. So let's look very closely at this side here. So I don't know how well it's going to come across, but to my eyes, out here at the tip, that bevel is taller, let's go all the way back to the heel, than it is down here at the heel. It's ever so slightly taller out here than it is at the heel. Let's look at this side. It's more pronounced over here. See how tall that bevel is right there? How much raw metal underneath the coating? That's your bevel. See how wide it is right there at the tip? Look back here at the heel, right here. Look, you can even see that little mark right there on the heel of the blade, on the plunge grind? That's from the grinder of the person that sharpened this knife when it was leaving the factory. So again, you can see the thickness right there and the thinness of the bevel right back here. So these knives are all, I don't know if they're CNC machined or whatever, how, some of them are, but basically the last thing that they do is somebody puts a knife in their hands, goes up to a sharpening wheel and goes zoom, 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 and does it by hand. So this is like a $60 knife or so. This was done finished by hand. My $450, $500 Chris Reeve knives Sebenza 31 was done by hand, and it was lopsided as shit when I got it in my hand. So it really doesn't matter how much money you spend on it. At least in my experience, you know, sometimes you get some knives that are really close, really close, like they're great. Most of the time, there's some wonkiness. So on this side, it's not as bad as this side, to my eyes anyways. I don't know how well it's coming across on the camera. Here, let me adjust the zoom just a little bit. Okay, look at the height right there, out there at the tip. And then come back and see how narrow that is. So this bevel right here, I would say, is at maximum half of the height of the bevel out here. So they kind of laid into it hard here and pulled away, and it's light right here. So here's where I'm going to attempt to draw. Okay, let's see if I can do this. So this is going to be this knife blade as I'm looking down it from this direction. Okay, so just bear with me here. So this is the main body of the knife, side of the knife, okay? And this is going to represent what it is here at the heel of the blade. This is where I think the most difference is, and this is where I can tell that I'm going to need to remove the most metal to get it to match up here. So this looks like, this is an exaggeration, okay? Oh, I screwed it up already. Okay, let me try this again. Okay, so I'm going to say that, oh, how do I want to do this? Okay. So this is an extreme exaggeration of what this knife looks like, okay? So the main side, the main initial bevel here, as opposed to this right here, this main flat spot is right here, and then you have a more of a obtuse angle, is that right? I can't remember, math and stuff, geometry. Where over here, this is this side, here you got your main side, and this is a more acute, sharper angle in here. So this is a gross display of what this looks like. So what does this mean for you as a knife sharpener? So when you come in and you go to start, say if you are a guy that likes to count strokes, okay, and you come in and you get your digital angle cube and you come out here and you say, okay, I want to put a 17-degree angle on that knife. Okay, well, 17 degrees might look like this on this knife right here. And you need to remove that much metal to get to a 17-degree angle. Whereas over here, maybe this is a 17-degree angle on this side. But you can see that this line comes out and intersects right here. So you have an issue. When you sharpen at, say, 17 degrees, you're going to start, your stone's going to be contacting right here, and you're going to slowly work your way in until you get right here where you can reach the edge and create a bevel. And you have to work your way from here all the way in. Now, over here on this side, you're going to be much closer to that bevel already because of this angle right here, but you can sharpen, come in, but then if you look closely, you're going to end up with two bevels. So this is 17 degrees right here. You're going to sharpen and remove this little sliver of material right here, but you're going to look down at your knife and say, well, what the hell? Why do I have this angle and then this angle? And it's because it's not symmetrical. So what you need to do is determine for sure what angle that you want to sharpen at, and you need to determine how much metal you're willing to take off of the knife. So, like I said, you can either, well, yeah, basically you just make a choice what side you want to be at. So me, personally, I try to remove the least amount of metal that I can from a knife and maintain as close to a factory angle as I can. So to me, for this particular knife, I'm looking at front to back and side to side all together, And to me, up here at the front of this knife, at the tip, that bevel on the right side and this bevel on the left side look to be very similar. So I think the grind out here is pretty symmetrical at the tip. It just tails off here at the end. They were a little bit more consistent on this side, coming back. It does get a little bit thinner. It's not as tall back here, but on this side, it really does taper off. So I am deciding right now that I want the heel of this blade to look like the front. So I'm going to set my angle with my angle cube and my green marker, do the marker trick. I'm going to set my angle based on where I want it, and that's going to be out here on the tip. So I'll set it right there, do the marker trick, and then I will have to work and fade in all of this to match what this is right here. Same thing on this side. It's a little bit less pronounced, a little bit less dramatic, but that's exactly how it's going to work. So, I don't know if there's anything else I want to add to that. So, yeah, I hope that makes sense though, because like, it really can be kind of complicated to get it and determine what you want to do and how it actually works and why it looks like that. So I guess you could, since you have this, like say this is 17 degrees and you have like this little double bevel right here, you know, if you tried to match your stone right smack on the side of that, okay, and say that's 15 degrees. Well, you can go ahead and sharpen on this side and get that perfectly straight along there and have a nice sharp edge. You're throwing a bevel over here, but you want it to look the same on this side. So a 15-degree edge on this side is going to look more like that. So you're going to have that much more metal that you need to remove. But, you know, it's kind of just up to you how much you really want to take. I would recommend, just for aesthetics, for it to be as symmetrical as possible. I'm looking out my picture window right now. We've got all kinds of hummingbirds, and there's like 3 hummingbirds just like partying right outside my window. It's super cool. Anyways, distractions. So I don't know. Let's see. Let's put this all into practice. There goes the cuckoo clock for old time's sake. Let's put this into practice and see what it actually looks like. Give me a minute and I'll get this set up. Okay, let's see how this goes here. So I've had to move some stuff, but we've got you pretty darn zoomed in on the more egregious side of the knife, okay? So I think in that camera angle, you can kind of see, I haven't done anything to it yet, just mounted in here. I think you can kind of see the differences between the bevel, between the height of it up here and back here. So, you know, and this is all pretty, this is for nerds with fixed angle sharpeners. Some people are might watch this and be like, well, this is stupid. Why would you even think about it that much or care? If I can just throw it on my, you know, handheld stone that I got from Farm and Fleet and be good. And it's like, well, that's cool, but this is more precision stuff. So we're going to do the marker trick. And usually when I am just getting started and trying to set my angle, I will use a higher grit stone. So right now I've got 1,000 grit. I don't want to start with a coarse stone because it'll start hogging off metal too quickly and I won't get a good representation of where I'm at angle-wise. So I'm going to start over here. And that says 18.15. I'm going to go down to 18 degrees and just see where we're at. Usually most knives fall between like 15 and 20 degrees. Okay. On this side, I'm hitting along the shoulder here, and there's a ribbon of green up on the top on the edge. So I will try to demonstrate that over here. Where are we at? 18.8. Let's go ahead and dial that dude right on in. Actually, I might have to move it in a whole notch here. And forgive me also if I take too long and kind of fumble my way through this. I haven't done this in a while. Okay, there's 18 degrees over here. Let's see what it looks like. So now you're not really looking to take metal off, you're looking to take marker off. See that? So that's interesting. So now you can really see the difference of what I'm talking about between the bevel differences. So out here at the tip, it's just hitting the edge, not the whole side of the bevel. It grows and grows and grows and grows, and then right here in the middle, it's perfectly centered on it right there, right? But then back here, it goes back and just hits the shoulder, 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 and doesn't hit back here. That's what is throwing people off. Of people just assume from the factory that these are perfectly straight, nice looking edges. They're not. This right here shows exactly the differences from front to back and side to side, because this side over here looks nothing like this side right here. So, let's see, I could use this. Oh, give me my alcohol here. Oh, I don't want to take it off yet, actually, because I don't want to take my marker off. All right, so like I said before, I want to get all of this to match up here at the tip. So I'm going to have a little bit larger of a bevel coming back here. I'm going to have to remove more metal back here to get that to match. But to get this to match, I need to take my angle and suck it in. So we are at 18 degrees now. We are going to go down to 17. See what happens. Almost. Okay. Nope, that is right. It moved. Okay, so we're right at 17 right here, right now. So let's see what this looks like. Kind of more of the same thing. It grew, the sharpened bits grew a little bit right there, and just more on the shoulder back here. Okay, I think we might have to take a bigger swing than that. Let's go. Let's go down to 15 degrees. Usually, for a daily driver knife that I'm not trying to do anything crazy with, 15 degrees is like my low limit of what I want to see my knives at. So I'm thinking whatever 15 degrees gets us right here is where it's going to be. Oh, that's a lot better. So you can see how much more it took off up here. Still have a little bit right there at the tip. And then all from like here back, I need to work on that shoulder, dig that in to be able to get it up here towards the edge. Okay, so 15 degrees it is. I'm gonna get my other side set up on 15 degrees. And this side is just gonna kind of be what it is, and it's just going to basically, I'm trying to get this right side to match my left side. So I kind of, let's see, how do I want to word this? Each knife kind of will have like a trouble side, I guess. One side that's a little more wonky than the other side. And I usually try to do what I need to do to get the wonky side, which was this left side, get it as good as possible for like what I want my angle to look at. Basically what we just went through, what I'm willing to work with and how much metal I'm willing to take off. I base that on the wonky side of it, so the bad side. And then whatever that angle is over here, I'll just duplicate it over here on the other side. And then just kind of roll with that. So that's where we're at. And that's not too bad. This side is more, it's all along the shoulder, down here, down low, and not getting up to the edge. So I'm not making a burr on this side yet. So, okay, that is all of that. So let's go ahead, get the coarse boys out here, and let's start hogging some metal. Hopefully this doesn't take too terribly long. This knife isn't like some crazy steel like, I guess I could, I should have probably left that on there. This knife isn't some like crazy steel like 8CR13, this is 8CR13 MOV. It's not like Maximate or something like that. So hopefully, I'm gonna redraw this just so you can see. So hopefully this doesn't take too terribly long. If I can draw a damn line, there we go. Okay, let's start hogging some metal here. Let's see how we did. Not bad. So I can tell already that the green marker on the shoulder side right here is already gone. And I'm starting to see a thin ribbon right about here on back on the edge side. So from roughly here forward, that's good. Like I've got a burr, so I'm from the edge all the way up to the shoulder right here. So I don't need to go from here up anymore unless it's to blend. So what I'm going to concentrate on is from here on back and get that green ribbon to disappear. Okay. Getting there, maybe. So I don't know if you can see that or not, but I still have a green ribbon, but I'm working this shoulder down. So from all the way back here, it's starting to get caught up and able to match the bevel height from here back here. That's the goal. I'm going to do a quick blending pass there. Okay, we're getting kind of close up here. But look, now it's really kind of dramatic. You can really see the difference between the bevel from right there to there. It's kind of nuts. Okay, I'm gonna catch this side up a little bit. Okay, we're getting there. Still not quite to the edge yet. Still working the shoulder. It is kind of crazy sometimes when you're sharpening like this and you're on the shoulder and not quite to the edge. Sometimes I've noticed that when your stone finally does get to the edge and makes a bevel, or reaches the bevel, when your stone finally reaches the edge and starts to create a burr, is what I was trying to say, you'll hear a little tick like that. I don't know if it'll happen or not, and I don't know if it'll be able to be picked up if it does happen on the camera, but every now and then you can kind of hear a little tick like that. It's kind of cool. Just that tiny little sliver of metal finally rolling over. Okay, I think right in here, I'm to the bevel, I'm not here, and then from here down, it's really close. Okay, not quite there, but I'm kind of getting to the point where it's pretty close on both sides. So basically I just have like this little bit somewhere in here left to work on this side. It's kind of the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to try to switch back and forth just so I'm not overgoing on one side, overdoing it on one particular side. There we go, that's starting to look almost right. So I've got a burr there, not there. Okay, burr right there. Not there. Okay, I'm gonna try to catch up a little bit on this side. But mostly just concentrating on the heel. That seems to be where the bulk of the metal is. And it also could be, so something that is not super common. Sometimes the further away from the edge you get, the thicker the knife gets, right? Like it always tapers down to its fine edge. But sometimes knife makers, whether they do it on purpose or not, will kind of like beef it up, have it be thicker in certain areas, and that can also throw off your angle and your bevel height. Most notably, Spyderco. I have a Shaman, and I didn't realize this, but until I was watching it was a blade show. Whatever the hell, it was Blade HQ at whatever the hell the big Vegas knife thing is. I can't remember right now, but they had the, I believe it was Eric Glasser, whatever, from Spyderco. He was on there, and he was talking about a new Shaman, and he actually, I don't know, I'm trying to be humble and not, I'm assuming that he didn't watch my video, but in my video, when I was sharpening my Shaman, I was like, this tip is wonky because it was like a perfectly matched bevel coming down, and then it went like that, and I had way more bevel, like, and I really had to blend it and try to get it right. Well, I didn't realize it, but he said that when they engineered the knife to give it extra strength, they made it thicker at the top and all the way down to the tip. So it was thicker metal down there. So my stones were contacting more of that. There was, anyways, yeah, it was kind of weird. But so sometimes the thickness, long story short, the thickness behind the edge can change either by design or by just, I guess, maybe shoddy knife making skills. But I would say usually it's by design. And you might not know it. So maybe in some specific cases, you might run into that. That's not the case on this knife or most knives. But just so you know, if you do have a Spyderco Shaman and a fixed angle sharpener and you wonder why the tip looks different, why your bevel really opens up, it's because it's thicker metal up there at the front. Okay. So I got a good bevel up there. Okay. And then not so much right there. So I think it's like microscopically close back here. Like I can't see any of the marker anymore. There, I think I just heard a tick. So I might be right on it right now. But I wasn't quite there before, so. Nope. Pretty darn close. So this might be a spot where I'm like 99% of the way there. And I think that that's way more uniform from back here up to here. That's, I won't call it perfect because it's not. It's still a little bit thinner back here, but it looks to me kind of like what I was talking about. It looks to me like there's a hard whoop of the, you can see the black coating comes up. I think it's thick. The knife gets thicker right back here at the plunge grind, and that's what's affecting That's what's affecting that, maybe. Or it could just be wonky. I don't think so though. But point is, I'm really, really close on both sides. So instead of, basically I'm gonna lower how much metal I'm taking off. I'm stepping up to the 200 grit right now, just to get that last final little bit. Still pretty aggressive, but not as aggressive. We're just gonna ease into that perfect burr, just a little bit slower. Trying to blend a little bit here. I think I just heard another little tick. Still not there at the heel. Getting closer though. I almost feel like right in here on this right side, I'm not quite there. Actually, no, I'm not. Yeah. Huh, interesting. I am back there though. Okay. Let's this is just going to be a horse's ass, isn't it? Maybe I could have stuck on the hundreds just a little bit longer. Suppose I could jump back over there real quick. Might need to, yeah. I'm not getting bevel right there. And on this side, it's still being stubborn right back there in that last half inch, 3/8 of an inch, maybe. Yep, still not there. All the way down though, aside from there, is good. Okay, we're gonna go back to 100. Tired of it. I got stuff I want to do other than sit here and wait on this bevel to get right. One way you can kind of tell, okay, we're getting pretty darn close there. One way you can kind of tell is these stones will throw like sharpening dust off. As you're going, and it's not really doing it so much on these hundreds, but you can see that sharpening dust right there. It will come over to the other side when you're all the way at the burr. If you're not at the burr all the way over, you really won't see it come over much. So like when you switch sides or switch stone grits, and you go and it throws some dust where it's throwing the dust, you're at the burr. Where it doesn't throw dust, you're not. I was going pretty hard. I looked over and saw my camera mount, phone mount thing. There we go. So I was shaking, so sorry if I'm shaking the shit out of the table. Okay, I got a burr all the way on this left side. Let's try this side. And yes, that looks much, much, much better. Burr test, yes, 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 yes. Okay, so I have a burr on both sides, all the way from front to back. So basically, this bevel and this burr is symmetrical from front to back, left to right, as close as me personally I am capable of getting with this equipment. So now from this point, it's how high up the grit chain do you want to go? So me personally, I think this knife is going to be kind of a thumper user knife. So I'm going to leave it pretty coarse. So what I'm going to do is just finish it on 200 grit and leave it nice and toothy. So now that I know that I've got a burr on both sides and that it's nice and uniform, I don't need to sit here and scrub. Now it's switching gears to finishing. So what I'm going to do here with these is get my scratch pattern nice and uniform, and get that burr standing straight, as straight up as I possibly can. Okay, that looks pretty classy. I'm going to clean off the dust and then hit it with the final step, which, if I can not spill this on my table, that would be great. Which is to run over to the cabinet where I keep my knife sharpener really quickly and grab my strops and deburr the knife. Remove the burr. Give me just a hot second here. Okay. So these are just the basic straps that came with my kit. Just regular cowhide leather. This is 1 micron. The goal of this is to deburr the knife, to remove that little flap of metal that I was tossing back and forth there that we worked so hard to get. I want that gone because it's flimsy. And I want my cutting edge to be the edge underneath the burr. That's my sharp, sturdy, tough edge. So a little bit of time with those. That does kind of blend in the scratch marks a little bit, but this knife is done. Let me shut this off and then I'll do a little recap here. All right, let's take a look at this dude. So you can see it's definitely got a better shine to it, but see right there how that looks nice and symmetrical from tip to heel. Look at that. On this left side, that's a huge difference from what it was. Took a fair bit of work to get there, and you can kind of see, let's see here. Back here, where it kind of comes up on the plunge grind a little bit, that's a little bit weird looking, but that's kind of what I had to do to get the entire length of the blade sharp. You can see I kind of came up on the plunge grind a little bit right there too. But just to kind of recap again here using these drawings, I think maybe this will help. So this was like, this side was the tip of the knife, this side was the heel of the knife, and they were both different. So up here, I decided to, on the tip, on the left side of the knife, right here, I decided that's what I wanted my edge to be. So I just basically touched it up a little bit with these stones, just boom, right where that was. That's what, for the most part, what I set my angle to. Over here, to get that same angle, I kind of had to start like this and work my way into it. Because if you recall, I was saying that I had a green ribbon up at the top, so that means that I was hitting right here at the shoulder, and I had to work my way into to get that right there, to get the burr. Now back here at the back, it was kind of a different story. To get this same angle here at the heel, all the way back here on both sides, it was much more pronounced, this wonkiness. So this started here as well, right here on the shoulder, and I really had to work my way all the way in to get to that bevel. That's what took so much time, was to get from here to here on the angle that I determined here. And then on this side, on the right side, it wasn't as dramatic, but it was kind of the same thing on this side here as well. A little bit here where I was touching on the heel, my marker shows, marker shows, marker shows, and then finally right to there. So I hope that kind of illustrates a little bit with these big goofy drawings, kind of what my mentality is and what I look for and how I approach getting symmetry or removing asymmetry, I guess maybe is a better way to put it, from a knife edge. Yeah, that's about it. Sorry it took so long for me to post a video. I don't know, I kind of doubt anybody's been waiting on it, but if you were, sorry it took so long, and I appreciate you sticking around. And for the new people too, that have subscribed since I have made a video, I appreciate it. Yeah, I've been putting like 0 effort into my channel. Usually not even thinking about it, but it is kind of cool sometimes to check my phone in the morning, and overnight I have like 2 or 3 guys sub to the channel. It's like, really? But anyways, y'all are cool. I appreciate it. I hope that helps. I hope it helps you. And again, this is good for any fixed angle sharpener. Like, you can take what I just did and put it on a KME or any of like the one-sided ones where you're, you have the whole rod contraption, or it's good for a wicked edge, whatever. So, or even if you're freehanding and you're trying to approach it, you can use that too. So, anyways, that's what I got. Take it easy.